All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to my Limbus company journey, starting from Canto 9 when I decided to record this. Maybe I'll do. Maybe I'll go back and I'll do some type of rewatch of the Canto 1 through 8. But man, that story really sticks out for me. But it might be useful for people who are just tuning in at Canto 9. But, today we're here to do the new side story, Twinning Threads. I know some things about it because I am on Twitter and I do not particularly hide from getting spoiled about little the intervals. Not that they don't have lore in them, it's just that generally speaking, the lore in them is usually not too bad to get hit early with instead of on the view. Now, when it comes to cantos, I will do my best to avoid spoilers. I want as much as the canto to be fresh content. But yeah, no. Anyway, we're here to do Twinning Threads. Of course, that means you're gonna start stage 1, and of course, there's no voicing, so I guess that means I have to read everything. So I hope everyone is prepared to hear my voice a lot, because that's what you're gonna get. Alright? Anyway, time to start. Funeral. I sharded the ID. I'm getting max. Max twinning thread currency or whatever. Anyway, a funeral was held for Martin and the LCE researchers today. I thought I'd see more than my fair share of deaths throughout my journey with the centers. Hold on. But never before had I witnessed this many people gathered in one place to mourn the deceased together. The unfamiliarity made me feel a bit out of place. Am I doing this right? Most of the center seemed to be feeling that similar sense of being out of their element as well. Some of them were asking their soul, apparently the most knowledgeable of them when it came to funeral procession and etiquette, all manner of questions for pointers. Okay, that's... Expressing respect is the primary purpose. Hand placement and gestures are unimportant if that objective can be accomplished. Hey, where do I put this? Beneath the third pillar to the right. Can't any of you quit chattering for 1 second? Have you all forgotten the instructions to carry yourself with solemn propriety that befits the occasion? Okay, cut me some slack. I haven't been to funerals all that much. I mean, I did tell you to read the manual. I even underlined all the important parts for you. She knows no one reads those manuals. Sorry, Ishii. The walls of text was just too much for me. My focus started fizzling out from page 30 onwards. Hadn't every sinner here attended a funeral before? Back when we set foot in that grim manor in T-Court? That's true, actually. Thou speakest of the funeral held in young Heathcliff's manor. Dost thou not, the one bereft of the dead? Bereft of the dead, I mean someone had to have died, because there wouldn't have been a property dispute big enough to involve the, I don't know how, OFI Association? Notarization. Otherwise, I would have said this time and time again, but it was just intentional anonymity to prevent family strife. Intentional anonymity, is it? If the situation was indeed as thou sayest, then there was no helping it. Forsooth, yet 'tis a pity that the dead wasn't named at their own funeral. The name of the deceased was... It was Catherine's funeral. She was very dear to Heathcliff. I have thoroughly reviewed the past 5 years' worth of local newspapers pertaining to the matter, yet no such name relevant to the case was identified, manager. Oof. Immediately starting out with beating Heathcliff down. It's fine, Clockhead. At least you remember. That's good enough, isn't it? It had to be the Golden Bow's influence. Somewhere along the way, everyone's memories of the events at Wuthering Heights had become warped. The sinners seemed to think that the Golden Bows had always been there in that manner, and that Nellie was coaxed into stealing it by Herman. Linton, in their minds, was now a grieving brother who had been conducting research for his dead sister's sake. Nobody questioned it, not Don Quixote, not Faust. Every single sinner believed the twisted version of the memories as if it was a proven fact. Heathcliff and I gave up trying to correct them. Instead, we just check in on each other's memories every now and then. Oh, that's nice. Because there's something that he and I realized, it was that anything tied to Catherine had already been painted over, every detail glided and glossed over with the glow of the bow. Well, the point is, how should I put this? The circumstances of that funeral didn't exactly leave us much room to properly express our condolences back then. Between Heathcliff running on a rampage and that hiddenly guy bent on interfering with the execution of the will, sigh. I should have gone, huh. I assume that sort of impotent was pretty common stuff for funerals, but apparently not. No, impediment, excuse me. No, well, I think it's actually rare to see a place that follows the proper funeral procedures. I travel all around it quite a bit myself, but I can't confidently say that I've ever been to a legitimate funeral. That makes sense, though. The one at Wuthering Heights was one of the more proper funerals, if only for pretending to have a correct process. They at least prepared a coffin and even had a formal reading of the will. Oh. It seems funerals are far from being an everyday custom in the city. Yeah, I would imagine so. Funerals are considered a rather extravagant practice here as well. Corporations are not eager to grant time-offs just because an irrelevant someone has died, and the price of real estate seldom makes it viable to buy land and erect memorial houses on it. Yeah, this man's crashing out. Then what other option do people usually have? Cremation, I guess? We used to just leave them where they died, and after one night's sleep, the bodies were gone, just like that. Okay, well, that's better than paying loads of money to bury him somewhere just to have that stir up a load of daft rumors, eh? Rumors? What? You know, rumors about there being valuables buried with the bodies, or an arm being some fancy prosthetic, all that rot. Better let the dead go in peace than to bury them in a grave just for some sods to later desecrate it. In Hong Yong, people tended to set up graves if they have enough room to spare. Of course, there wasn't a guarantee they wouldn't lose the burial room by the next restructuring day. Of course, Hoffenheim, Tease foolishness, all of it, comforting the soul of the departed, another mediance. All those funds so carelessly squandered, all for the purpose of furnishing the living with a fragile excuse to cling on. Are those words from his heart, or just something said to convince himself? Yeah, that man's crashing out. Whichever was the truth, I couldn't see the look on his face with his head tucked so low. The funeral didn't last long. It was just a brief moment of silence, followed by quick goodbyes that were shorter still. Man. The ceremony came to a close once Alyssa, who was still in recovery, came to pay her final respects. The flames devoured the coffins of Martin and the other researchers, announcing the end of their existence with the crackle of firewood. So, I suppose you'll be leaving now? No, we live in H Corp. We stay here forever. Oh. We're staying until Gregor's stable enough to travel. Dante says we'll remain here until Gregor's condition settles. Haha. Gregor came to his senses again a few days after his unforeseen metamorphosis in the battle against the Thumb Nurse Father. Oh yeah, I wonder how that went. He was given a checkup, and Hoffenheim said that there was no cause for concern. Hoffenheim. I don't know why I'm adding in. Hoffenheim. Physically, that is, the psychological assessment turned up disastrous. At least Gregor was declared unfit for combat deployment for the time being. He won't be leaving just yet. Good to know. It's like Hoffenheim. And I assume you'll be okay with us barring Sinclair for a while? Why are you stealing my German boy? Me? Me? Yes, you. The LCE wants to look into the sign you manifested, Sinclair. The higher-ups didn't waste a second green-lighting the project, which means that I'm telling you is more of a notice of investigation than a request for permission. Oh, so it's less of a choice. Huh? Investigation? What are you... It's just a rather rudimentary instance of human experimentation. Calm yourself. Okay, alright. Okay. Human experimentation? Did you really have to put it like that, boss? Not to worry, Sinclair. A swipe or two of your skin, maybe some talk therapy. That's all there is to it. Of course, if we had your consent, the avenues of research could be vastly... No, I am not giving you my consent. For your reference, the other departments have also submitted some quite enthusiastic requests for research and observational purposes. Okay, so everyone's like, oh, you have no idea. We had to get Boss to fend off LCA's Mirror World Observation department and their hissy fits. They wanted to be the first ones to get their hands on you and spearhead the research, you see. And had we allowed them, they'd have kept you for a good few months before letting you go. So the least you could do is thank us as being a good boy and cooperate. Ah, just in time. Our researchers are here. Oh no. Unless a wave of the researchers who were filling out the funeral hall after paying their respects. It wasn't long before Sinclair found himself surrounded on all sides. Sinners, help him! Wait, I'm perfectly capable of walking there on my own, so just don't run away. Just don't run any painfully tests on me. Of course, of course. Stay strong, Sinclair. Yeah, stay strong, Sinclair. All I could do was to offer an unspoken encouragement to Sinclair, who sounded ready to collapse into a full-blown panic any minute. What about you? You're not going with them? Oh, it's back to the long-term recovery ward for me. I always thought scientific research was the one thing that flamed my passion, but with the recent events having introduced me to the merits of paid sick leave, I realized that time off beats research progress in my book, marginally. Overworker figures out what time off is, never comes back, enjoy it while it lasts. I highly expect that every request for PTO submitted by your department will be rejected for the rest of the year. Well, it's true, your average corporation doesn't get much more than a week off a year. As soon as Alyssa trudged off with her dragging steps, the researchers seized Sinclair and carried him away. Alright, we should get going too. Oh, do you all have somewhere else to be? Well, I thought I'd go visit Gregor. I'm worried about him. Got something I said I'd help with. Gotta be there for it. I'm going with Sinclair to get some rest, also to keep an eye on the researchers and stop them if they try anything fishy with the experiments. Let me know later if you need anything, Dante. The centers fanned out in different directions. They seem to have their own errands to run during our stay at the LCE. Everyone's busy with their own thing. Man. I ain't got like a cigarette to do the fake smoking thing. The only ones keeping me company now were Ryoshi, who had been filling the air with thick cigarette smoke, and Doc Diota, who was sniffing and asking around at every corner for Vespa in a valiant quest for the new color fixer's whereabouts. Oh no. Foss was still here too, staring blankly into the air. Okay. Is she assessing the Foss cord right now? You seem to have some time to spare, manager. As I stood there wondering what I should do next to pass the time, Hoffenheim, who had apparently finished tackling and signing stacks of paper, walked over to me. This makes things rather convenient. There is something I had intended to discuss with you and Senator Ryoshi, and that requires your assistance. Oh yes? Does it? What kind of assistance? What kind of assistance? Says Clockhead. Wait a minute. Did Ryoshi just step in as my interpreter? It's not that I don't appreciate her gestures, especially since she's usually snap at me and tell me to find someone else to interpret whenever the issue came up. But I can't help but doubt whether her choice method of interpretation actually accomplishes anything. There is, I must admit, a certain novelty in witnessing the reconstitution of which requires interpretation into yet another linguistic form equally demanding of it. It would seem we are in need of more manpower. Scratching his head, Hoffenheim looked around for a moment before coming to a sudden pause, as though an idea had crossed his mind. At the end of his gaze was a certain someone who was busy badgering LCA employees with her relentless questioning. Who else, pray, might know where he is? If thou knowest, now listen closely, the one I speak is a bearer of hair fashioned in the likeness of a bull. You there, why don't you join us too? Dost thou speak of me? Me? The LCA personnel who had been cornered by Don Quixote at a rather forceful interrogation regarding Vespa's whereabouts took the opportunity and fled the scene without so much as a backward glance the moment the captor turned her head to answer Hoffenheim. Or Miss Hohenheim, maybe. Indeed, there's a task that requires your assistance, but I have yet more words to trade with the most noble yellow harpoon. You got yellow hair. You seek to emulate the virtues of chivalry. Does that entail turning down the earnest plea of those in need? Ah, good, he's figured out how to exploit this. For the sake of clarity and distinction, it would be prudent to assign you a different identifier from that of my assistant. You are to be number 2, that is, assistant number 2. I have not yet concluded my exchange with the yellow harpoon, but no true knight would abandon those who call for aid. Pray, speak thy quest. How may I be of service to thee? Delegating the interpretation of the manager's speech to center number 4 has proven to be counterproductive. As such, your task will be to report to me what the manager says. Ho! That is indeed a simple task. However, this wokoe eluded my understanding as well. Prithee, allow me a little bit of time to uncover its mystery. Alright, relay the manager's words, not scenario. Foss staring blankly. They're asking you what kind of assistance you need. The request for interpretation was not directed to you, but I cannot deny that your meddling in the present circumstance is a welcome one. It was simply that the irrationality and inefficiency of your suboptimal staffing choice and workflow have become sufficiently unbearable. Foss hopes that this was not some guileful scheme devised to elicit Foss cooperation. Ha! In any case, manager, this request of mine concerns an investigation into the back doors located in the House of Spiders. Oh yeah? Everyone's got back doors. I deem that the two of you should be ones most familiar with the structure and layout of the house. After all, you were the one monitoring the entirety of the 5-pronged assault operation, and Center number 4's familiarity does not bear repeating. Okay. Did we go to the House of Spiders anywhere right away? I heard. Okay, so this. You've assisted enough. Perhaps you could help Faust. Sure. Although not word for word, Faust relayed my intentions to Hohenheim, who responded by shaking his head. We're gonna have 5 different pronunciations for his name by the time I'm done with this. Not immediately, no. There's one more member you should bring along. One more member? Who's that? Seeing me tilting my head, Hohenheim pushed up his glasses. I better like Hoffenheim better. The apprentice who was captured alive in the House of Spiders. Kira. She has regained consciousness. Yeah, after, after she got, the thing happened to her. The thing. You know what I'm talking about. The thing. Where she get... where she... the thing. Anyway, I should stop. I should stop talking. Hold on. I gotta go do something real quick. Oh. Alright. Next chapter. Survivor. Isn't it still kind of wild how many people survived Kanto 8? Like, let's talk about that for a second. We're not going to, but just think about it. How many people survived Kanto 8? But, like, the Kanto before and the Kanto right after, almost near total death count. It's kind of crazy if you ask me. Anyway, Survivor. I'm a survivor. The place Hoffenheim less like a recovery ward and more like an interrogation chamber. Well, I mean, yeah. Though every single medical equipment installed around seemed to be state of the art. This place looks well equipped. Probably direct order from upper management. Although technologies to restore lost body parts are common enough in the city, a facility of this kind is required to preserve the original form of her lower body in the reconstruction process while keeping the cost reasonable. Reasonable, huh? Do I want to ask how expensive the other options are if this counts as reasonable? A windowless room with thick, sharp scent of medicine and chemicals. Kara was sitting on the bed. She looked so sad. Sitting at the center of the bed, center of the room. Sitting on the bed at the center of the room, kicking her feet. For someone recovering from bisection, she didn't look much different from how she appeared when I'd seen her through the center's shared vision. She was captured live for the extraction of information. Yes? How far along is the progress of the extraction? It hasn't yet begun, actually. We are waiting until the lines of information that warrant questioning can be isolated. That's what you just got her here. So far, all available personnel have been fully engaged in analyzing the documents and items discovered in the House of Spiders. Oh yeah? And what you even doing here? There's work to be done contingent upon information attainable only from a recent inhabitant of the House of Spiders. And following a discussion with the upper management, I have decided to put you to use as the company had originally intended. Yippee! No TV, no comic books, just a super prickly glare at a cold show whenever I ask for something to pass the time. And now you suddenly need my help, huh? Give me one reason I should cooperate. I shouldn't give her a southern. She's not southern. Hoffenheim didn't so much as twitch at an eyebrow at Kira's biting tone. He merely gave her a nod with a steely, imperturbable expression. I didn't ask for your help. Put you to use, I believe, is what I said. Why? Your survival is not incidental. It is the result of a calculation. The company anticipates a potential profit by keeping you alive. Expected gain, as the term goes. Without such a forecast on the company's part, you would have already been disposed of. The upper management consists of people who would be disinclined to tolerate the daily maintenance and depreciation cost of this room, even at half their current numbers. Which brings us to our next point. Should you insist on maintaining this uncooperative attitude, the company may decide to convene a meeting to reassess your worth, or shall we say, lack thereof, in its projected income statement. Well, suffice to say that such a reassessment would skew heavily against your favor. The outcome would be a rather reaccommodation for immediate disposal. Hoffenheim always had a way with words that could prickle and sting. Thank you, Dante, for the input. But with Kira, it almost felt as if he traded the usual thorn off for a sharper knife, intent on twisting it right where it hurt. I'm dead meat as soon as my usefulness runs out anyway. It's not like you're gonna let me live, not after I killed a bazillion of your guys. So you anticipated some form of a corporate level retaliatory response against your person. This is indeed a curious line of reasoning. No, I think it's pretty reasonable. Then I must tell you that unlike your typical backstreet syndicate, such as the middle, corporate entities of the city tend to avoid choices that may incur losses. The value of the information that could be extracted from an apprentice of the middle, and the combat prowess honed under the tutelage of a great brother of the middle, these two considerations are likely what increase your value in the eyes of the company. Ha! Y'all got zero self-respect, huh? You should consider yourself fortunate. Huh? The heck are y'all on about? Other companies would not solicit your cooperation by means of a verbal exchange. Your interrogators would simply open your cranium, harvest your brain, and extract any and all necessary information without going through the intermediary steps such as this. Even without resorting to such methods, the range of available means to compel the disclosure of the information is practically limitless: truth serums, hypnotic suggestions, electrical shots, and stimulations, and of course, procedures utilizing distortions and abnormalities. That being said, the LCE department prefers to distance itself from such uncivilized approaches that may entail complications and after effects. I do hope that we share a similar delication? I don't know. You're so freaking annoying. You know that, mister? The feeling is entirely mutual. Leaving the biting chill of his threat to sink in, Hoffenheim turned towards the exit. Give her some push and bring her along. I don't quite seem to be myself today. No disregard that. That too was a rather foolish thing to say. I will defer this matter to you, manager. Work of this sort likely falls more within your capabilities than my own. And with that, Hoffenheim stepped out of the room, leaving me to deal with Kira. His reaction was understandable. The LCE had only just finished laying its dead researchers to rest. Kira was probably the last person anyone would want to face right now, much less speak to. No, that's reasonable. What should I even say to persuade her? Hit the gritty. I don't know. 6'7". I can't. I was still caught in thought when someone quite unexpectedly made her way to Kira. Yoshida? Yo, Shihide. You got stabbed in the back by Matthias. That's not true. No, that is exactly what happened. Papa wasn't landing a fatal blow unless he cut through me too. That's why he did exactly that, to aim for the enemy's head. Besides, he made the right choice. A little sacrifice ain't a thing in a family. Ha! Family. Coming from him, a middle mutt thrown out of his kennel. Doesn't it sound ridiculous, even to you? That's... thrown out. That fucker Matthias was a great brother only by technicality. He fucked up badly. He was still family by name, but underneath it, everyone hoped he'd disappear quietly on his own. He was that family member nobody wanted around. So he's like the weird uncle at the family gathering. Same cheaper for me, being his brat. Not surprising, it's the standard ST for the bowl cut too. Same taste. Ho, young Ryoshi, could it be that thou also dost harbor a passionate zeal for I quickly clapped a hand over Don Quixote's mouth as she smoothly chimed into this conversation. I forgot she was here, honestly. So what exactly is your point? The point is you're taking too long. If you can't decide whether you want to live or die, I can shorten the hesitation. CQ or I'll sink right this second. What does that mean? Cooperate quietly or I'll snap your neck completely right this instant. Okay. Sink isn't such a bad way to go if you're keen on taking that loyalty act straight to the grave. Ha! This is so crappy. Whatever, I get it, okay? I'll talk if that's what you want so bad. That actually worked. Dante, sometimes you gotta be forceful, alright? Fixers who go out in a blaze of glory aren't actually the strong ones. It's the ones who survive, the ones who live to see another day, and keep getting stronger. Anyway, Yoshida, what's up with you talking in weird-ass abbreviations? Like, sink? That's so random. Who even says that? She didn't bother to reply and simply chewed on the mouth end of her cigarette. This is really the right call to her. We're probably the people she needs to settle the score with. As if. Half her tattoos are gone, Clock. They even confiscated her book. You think the middle sorry excuse for loyalty means so much for this stray that she bite us? Besides, no better hear it from her instead. Hey, tell me why Matthias kicked the bucket. That's cause Papa was weaker than y'all. Ha. Yeah, you're the jerk's brat, alright. Kira pushed herself up from the bed with a sour face, but at least she didn't argue back. And we called Hoffenheim, who'd been waiting outside, back in. I assume the prisoner was successfully persuaded. Yeah, let's call it that. Come, you'll find your weapon on the table. You may use it in the event of an emergency. What the hell? I can't even unsheath it. You'll be able to use it without authorization. The code has been slightly adjusted. Now then, let us head to the House of Spiders at once. The back door is up and waiting for us. We made our way to the House of Spiders, with Kira trailing behind us, looking like she was smelling something particularly fishy on us. That doesn't surprise me. When's the last time any of us bathed? Like, it's gotta be like Canto 8, right? End of Canto 8, it's gotta be the last time any of us had a bath. Like, I'm being honest, okay? I'm being honest here, okay? Canto 8 has to be the last time anybody here had like a bath. Right? I don't know if you can tell. We're maxing out here. Right? So who are we fighting here? Oh, man, look at this place. They did a really good job cleaning it up. Only a few days had passed since our last visit, but the place looked remarkably different from what we remembered. It probably smells so much better in here. Like, it probably smells at least stale in here, which is probably a huge improvement over what it previously smelled like. That's all I'm gonna say. The sight of the hollow, frigid atmosphere and the endless stretches of corridors hadn't changed. But Callisto's so-called artworks were now covered in white sheets, and unfamiliar devices were affixed all around the back doors. Prithee, who might those people thither be? Looks like some shady bastards moved in already. Our guarded reaction prompted Hoffenheim to step forward and gesture to one of the oddly dressed figures. You know, honestly, I see the comparisons. This is either Among Us or Backrooms. It seems introductions are in order for both sides. This is a team leader, Alan, from Wayfair Company, who will be working with us on the investigation at the house's back doors. Wayfair Company? A corporation entity partnered with Limbus Company, responsible for providing portal technology. It has, on prior occasions, been referred to as the New or Aspirant W Corp. The name is an unofficial one. Our employees are also taken to calling you the New L Corp, something we have in common given that both of us are chasing after the same horizon. Ah, I remember. That company vying to overtake W Corp's place, right? Yeah, that's what we just said! Dante, keep up! The same horizon. He's probably talking about getting recognized as a wing. After all, the old L Corp had already fallen, while W Corp, from what I've heard, is free falling at this point. Yep, collapsible wing. And these are the manager and the centers of the LCB department, our field operations team, frequently employed to deal with on-site matters firsthand. That's true. There's supposed to be a before team, but we ruined all their plans. They have more personnel, but the rest are tied up with other duties elsewhere. Only a handful will be joining this investigation effort. I understand field operation units are almost always understaffed. Anyway, the support you provided is more than sufficient. Alan gave an understanding nod. The man slipped off his bulky helmet before extending his hand in greeting. Pleased to make your acquaintance. The name's Alan, leader of Door Breach, Team 4. Okay. Likewise. So, like, do you think there's other L corporations, right? Before Foss could even relay my reciprocal greeting, words spilled out of Alan's mouth in a strangely uneven rhythm, as if ticking didn't bother him at all, like he was sticking to a script he had rehearsed. You know what, he probably talked this, he did this in the bathroom. I've heard great things about you, Manager Dante of Limbus Company, and the bus team's performance. No, he has not. Who's lied to this man? You capitalized on the suppression of distortions at T-Corp as leverage to push your products, and profits were nothing short of staggering, I heard. Yeah, this man has read this group. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be the distortion resolving specialists to the public. But that product part about the manager says it was merely a matter of luck. They also look forward to working with you on this task. Thank you, Faust, for putting in that cordial, like, oh, are you in the interpreter? In that case, I'll be sure to consult the manager only when both of you are available. You know what? That's some points for Alan. Sure. Foss didn't seem particularly pleased with the role Alan had pinned on her, but she nodded anyway. This is the most polite guy, especially compared to someone in Canto 4 who just kept talking. She quietly came to my side and answered my earlier question while Alice carried on with Hoffenheim. He's referring to the Monolith Sales Project. The credit was attributed to the LCB at the express request of Mr. Herbert, T-Corp's executive director. Oh, that's how the rumors spread, huh? We've reviewed the agreements. Now, I understand you'll be assisting in verifying what lies beyond the back doors. I'd appreciate it if you could share any prior knowledge you have about where these back doors connect, as detailed as you can make them, if you don't mind. Hoffenheim fixed Kira with a pointed look. Though Kira responded by defiantly cocking her head in a show of irritation, she still gave up a sliver of information she had. Honestly, I've got pretty much nothing if it's about Robo-Unk in his room. I mean, I've seen Albania hit up that door and the other one over there when she was popping out to farm stuff, but... Farm? Oh, it's gathering material. I see. What kind of material? You know what type of material. Human guts and all that. She come back hauling piles of them. So they're probably connected to some backstreet area. The backstreets, Any more details? Can you stop prying? You're low-key pissing me off. What? That's literally all I've got. For real. For a moment, Alan leveled Kira with a stiff expression. Ooh! And even before I could register what had happened, Kira's head jerked to the side from a sudden punch by Alan. I thought Kira was nimble enough to dodge a surprise attack easily, but this one seemed to have caught her completely off guard. She stood there blinking, eyes round in rude surprise. Actually, it wasn't that he caught her off guard. It was the motion of the punch itself that somehow felt off. The fist being raised, the arm being extended, the blow making contact. The chain of actions was there, but it just didn't look normal. Did you just hit me? What the hell's wrong with... As Kira reeled from the unexpected strike, Don Quixote spoke up in cold, sharp tone. Thou, what manner of discourtesy is this? Ah. With all that whining, I thought that brat could use a lesson to remind her of her place. Dang. I had no intention of damaging your company's asset, of course. I simply assumed the level of warning would not be inappropriate in this case. Hoffenheim is pissed. Team leader Alan. That sort of conduct may not be an issue in your organization, but it is here. Should it happen again, do understand that we may choose to terminate today's joint engagement without delay. My apologies, I'll keep that in mind going forward. I feel like there should have been a stutter in the middle. Alice stood down without arguing back, but Kira looked far from satisfied with how Hoffenheim handled the situation. Well, yeah, she went from the middle. He gets to sock me in the face and walk off scot-free. This is in the middle. So freaking annoying. Fortunately enough, her grumbling didn't escalate into her lashing out at Alan. Oh, she's learning. That punch just now, though. What was that? It's got to be using a portal to do the punch. Exhibited behavior that defied the standard laws of physics. It's like using a portal in like a brief moment. Presumably a form of technology utilized by Wayfarer Company. It's like portal to punch, right? Let us resume the task at hand. Portal to punch. This is what we're going with. Center Ryoshu, give Team Leader Alan whatever information you have. That door should lead to one of the ring-protected turfs. The other two on the left, I remember, they were marked with an X painted with blood. But I have no idea where they actually lead. It's all blurry. Seems that all the information we can provide will that suffice? We now know that the doors likely connect to a perceivable area. There's already a big improvement in terms of intel for Wayfarer Company's backdoor mapping progress. He looks so pleased, which means there's less of a chance of encountering a space beyond human perception past those doors. Alright then, I will proceed with connection verification. Which door shall we test first? We'll start with the one Center Ryoshu mentioned. Huh? You don't trust me at all, huh? And why even bring me along? Ignoring Kira's jab, Alan began setting up various devices on the door, and soon an elegant white door opened before us. Shall we? Art thou joining us as well, young Huffenheim? Just this once, there are procedures for handing over field operations. Okay, let's see what's in there. See what's behind door number 1. Oh. What the? Is this some kind of wildlife exhibit? Dante, you can't vaguely remember some things. The moment we stepped in, the lights hit us all at once, drawing squints and frowns from the centers. Thanks to my lack of physical eyes, I could make out a room with statues or perhaps taxidermied animals. It felt like a gallery of sorts, but it was so quiet that the air itself seemed to carry a strange, somber weight. After a moment, someone shattered the silence, but it wasn't Don Quixote or our usual suspect. Holy shit, the scale is just insane. That's the whale from 8 Association's Great Lakes Special Issue. Kira, who seemed beaten down all along, exclaimed with a bit more energy in her voice. Man, seeing it in real life sure hit different. And the Indigo Elder solo one-shots these monsters with that harpoon of his. It's a Great Lake whale. Doesn't look like the one we've encountered, though. Tongue-tied. Organisms of various sources can be identified here. Singularity modified, outskirts born. They look almost alive. They're not right. No, they're not alive, but duh. Though Robo-Unk did say that the ring had these zoos where they put monsters on display alive. Man, this would have been way more fun if we could see the moving ones. Everything's here is dead. Meh. Still looks crazy sick though. The vibe really hits. Man, even though she was trying to play it cool, Kira kept sneaking glances at the massive horn display off to the side, clearly surprised in a way she couldn't hide. That said, I felt a distinct shortage of hyperactivity given the presence of certain someone in our party. I wonder who it could be. Oh. Don Quixote? That's not who I was thinking of. The Eye of a Second Kindred of House Teeps. What is it doing here? At the mention of the word kindred, I couldn't help but follow Don Quixote's gaze. Opposite the whale was another kind of exhibit. It contained items leaning on the more gruesome side of things, starting with a crimson eyeball that caught Don Quixote's attention, and body parts like hands and bones that looked as though they had been stripped from the human body. Ah, okay, so it's the kindred display. It's a gallery of the School of Fascism. Probably a main studio at that, which comes with a maestro's ulterior in an auction house. Alan, we will be making our exit shortly. Prepare to initiate lockdown sequence. Before Hoffenheim could even finish his urgent transmission, numerous footsteps closed in from somewhere nearby. Oh. Turning towards the sound of the shoes clacking on the floor, we found strange figures wearing edible masks just staring directly at us. Oh. That presence is kind of like Papa's. Ain't no way. That's not a raid boss we can clear at our level. We gotta get out of here. It's not that simple. Retreating is not a viable solution here. This door is connected to the House of Spiders. Escaping without installing a security system will invite pursuit. We must stall them until Alan is ready to initiate the lockdown sequence. As tension thickened, one of the strangers, who wore a particular bone mask, stepped forward. Okay. The voice that spoke to us carried equal parts curiosity and delight. You came through that door. Then the house's fall wasn't just a baseless rumor. A stray little spiderling fallen from her parents' web. How many years has it been? You. Who are you? Ah, right. It makes sense that you would fail to recognize me. I used to wear a different mask back when I used to visit as your tutor, didn't I? A wolf, if memory serves right. Yes, that must have been when I was quite captivated by the sensations of tearing into the raw, still thrashing flesh of living prey and the predator's ferocious yet carnivorous, cavernous resonant howl. Rings a bell. You're that maestro whose whole lesson was a 3-hour serum praising the intensity of primary colors and the strength of living creatures. Bonit, was it? That's right, Emile Bon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Bonit. And they say you can't hatch a phoenix from a chicken's egg. Doesn't always apply, I see. Looks like that mind of yours is still sly as a raven, unlike your nurse fathers. Don't presume. I only remember you because the tacticality of hides and guts made for a passable, I don't know, the artwork is what I'm going with. At first glance, it looked like Ryoshi was casually taking a trip down memory lane with the maestro. Every interval from this point on is going to be another finger and Ryoshi having a yap. But I had a feeling she was in fact dragging this out on purpose to buy us time. That lockdown sequence thing, how much longer till it's ready? Tick, 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 tick. Young Hoffenheim, the lockdown sequence. I imagine they're whispering. Don Quixote, who had been shooting the ring members in incensed glare sparked by the discovery of a kindred eye, swiftly relayed my words to Hoffenheim, without even a hint of her earlier shenanigans. Oh wow, she's locked in. I'm afraid the progress and speed of the lockdown sequence lies in Alan's hands, not mine. It is, by its nature, a time-consuming work. We cannot expect haste. Well, that's not good. Perhaps that does make this suitable junction to trial Plan A. Plan A? Any suggestions that involve Don Quixote removing her shoes will not be dignified with a serious discussion. Instead, maybe what Hoffenheim had in mind had nothing to do with Don Quixote's shoes, because he opened his mouth as though he was about to retort to Faust's categorical rejection. But the moment he followed Faust's eyes and saw what she saw looking at, he quietly shut his mouth and said nothing further. Faith and potentiality is not something I dislike. As for this, however, this seems more like grasping at straws. At the end of their gaze with Ryoshi's blade, Arya Shika, I didn't pronounce it last canto, I was gonna try using it anyway. I've long wanted to see if a maestro's death is any different. Telling her that we were just leaving won't work, will it? No, it won't. Every individual present here would be quite the fascinating specimen to the artists of the ring. That's true. Scientists, kindred, false cord. We are practically a windfall of inspiration and material that has so conveniently been delivered to them. It is improbable they will allow us to return unharmed. Boss is right. She and Hoffenheim are geniuses. Ryoshi is the wielder of Arya Shiki. Don Quixote is a kindred of a higher generation, and I happen to house a golden bow in my head. I have no idea how much information the ring has on us. She went to the bathroom 40 minutes ago, but even if they knew nothing, that wouldn't let us go so easily. Are you sure about this, Ryoshi? Why are we letting her do it? Like come on. Doesn't matter if I am serious about this or not, Clark. Think of that woman as Lei Hang and do as you did in Hong. I don't know. I'll take care of the rest. I'm bad at the abbreviations. Right, that's probably our best shot. Where's Sinclair when I need him? But what Ryoshi meant was clear. Quite clear. Resonate with the golden bows. Secure an advantage to fight an equal footing and catch them off guard by slowing down the flow of time. A cut from Arashika, even if it doesn't give us a real fighting chance, might at least stall the Maestro long enough to give us the time to get away. This floor of the exhibit only houses submissions from students and docents. And if you look closely enough, there are some passable ones that show promise of excellence. And above all this is the gallery of the School of Fascism. And mine, the gallery of Emil Binov, which is why I would have preferred to take you without an unnecessary fight if possible. A shame. Still, we're talking about a unique relic here, a masterless one at that. Acquiring the Arashika makes it worth the cost. If you want a taste. Confusion flickered across Ryoshi's face as she tried to unsheath her blade. What's the matter? What's wrong? Lock in, Ryoshi. How? The lock the House of Spider used to bind the Arashika no longer exists. So why? Why can't I draw the blade? Now that's unexpected. So the rumors you mastering the relic, were they false? The Maestro only gave a loose swing of her arm, but it was enough to make Ryoshi recoil. A shadow of surprise crossed her face. The wound looked like nothing more than a light gash, yet the Maestro's contemplative gaze shifted between the blood on Ryoshi's arm and her own, as though the attack had been an experiment to prove a hypothesis. It wasn't hard to guess what she was thinking. Noticed, did you? I had my doubts from the moment I saw you today. Was the House of Spiders a success or a failure? Tell me, Yoshida, what do you think a serpent's defying strength is? What are you on about? Ask any student, and they'll give the same predictable answers. The deadly venom, the sleek scales. Why, it's lamentably disappointing. The Maestro advanced towards us with an assured certainty. Then, he sees a beige thread dangling from the ceiling. No, calling it a mere thread would be wrong. It was something that resembled a thread, yet felt much more disturbing. I, for one, have particularly liking for the jaw and the spine. The flexibility of the spine linked like a chain, and the jaw bound not by bone but by ligaments that allow the animal to swallow its prey whole. Perhaps I should have said that I admire their structural refinement. The rice cord ring on her ring finger gave off a cold glint, and the walls and the ceiling suddenly began to echo with sickening squelch and cracks of flesh and bones assembling. What the hell is that? Which brings me to ask, what better way to claim this delivery of promising material with a single bite than a work of fashioned from a snake? Maestro plunged her arm into the long, serpentine body of a monster. Her sheer presence radiated a pressure as oppressive as that of the nurse father, only more primal and untempered. Considered a privilege. This is the first time this piece has ever been exhibited to an outsider. Hoffenheim, is the lockdown sequence still not ready? No. 1 minute to go, step aside. The attack from the Ego Gear Hoffenheim hastily brandished didn't even last a moment. The weapon was knocked from his hand. As I scrambled to equip the sinners with their identities, something abruptly stopped the beast-like appendage midway through its hurtling motion. The one who intercepted the blow? Ha shit. Was Kira, struggling to push back against the serpentine arm with her still sealed blades. Kira! Kira! Did she suddenly have a change of heart I wasn't aware of? It's more like she also dies here. Shit. This wasn't the plan at all. Obviously not. She couldn't have changed her mind that quickly. Because the look on her face couldn't be anything other than that of utter regret. The middle, For someone who doesn't seem to be a proper member, you've inked quite the quantity of tattoos into yourself. Or onto yourself. Ah, you must be the new kit Matthias took in. Why do you stand in my way? Fucked if I know. I'm already regretting it, alright? Damn it. They're def gonna ditch me here. Why did I even... Ha! It must be instincts taking over. Couldn't fully shake off the opponent's killing intent, so the body chose to clash head on. So the behavioral facets of the psyche can be controlled with suitable training. Unexpected data, but useful to be sure. Shut it, mister. Quit yapping and let me use my blades. Authorized and ready. Lifting locks now. Carol's thermal weapons emerged from their sheaths with a metallic clang. She used the recoil of the motion to skid back and assume a defensive stance. Naturally, that broke Barit's arm from the deadlock as well. The Maestro lashed out again with the monstrous limb. But... Huh? 'Tis a foul injustice to strike against an unprepared opponent in a duel. Behold, for I shall allow the eclipse of the badass form that only the most renowned fixers have displayed to the ages. Seeing an opening, Don Quixote slammed into the arm with her full might, knocking it off its trajectory. Predictably, however, the sheer force of the Maestro's attack instantly reduced her to a red sludge of flesh and bone, sending her remains crashing into the door. Ready to initiate lockdown sequence. I will seal the door immediately upon your exit. Everyone to the door. Foss, retrieve the organic remnants of Sinner number 3. As Foss made her exit from what was once Don Quixote, Susan rings surrounded Kira, barring her way. A hollow chuckle slipped out of her lips. Ha, called it for real. This is exactly why I didn't want to get involved. Taking Kira back with us would mean having a sizable force of the ring trail right behind her through the door. Kira too seemed to have realized that the risk that no one in their right mind would want to take. She lowered her head in defeat as though she knew full well that fate waited. Well, the fate that I mean, she lived with the ring for a bit. Such a dumbass. What was I thinking? Diving in like that. You don't just stand there. Get over here now. Huh? But these guys are gonna come flooding in if I. You wanna get cleaved in half again? You pin this on me later. You're gonna pay. Blocking the Maestro's arm by a hair that came down on her again, Kira hurled herself towards the door with every bit of strength she could muster. More than a few students rushed in through the doorway, chasing after the sinners who had gone in ahead. But... lockdown sequence complete. All backdoor links have been cut. Fortunately, Alan managed to sever the connection between the two back doors before the Maestro could cross over. Yeah, that would have been really bad. Whew! Bowl cut, think you can still use your arms? I'm fine. So she says. Kira would be strong enough to addition to the fight for us, but the ring members that have managed to cross formed a rather sizable force. Fighting them off with just the sinners I have at my side would not be the best course of action. I see what everyone was saying. He really does just pull the trigger. In that case, guys, I assume you're all available right now. As soon as I called out the sinners, their voices come through Hoffenheim's radio one after another. Actually, I'm busy. I guess so. Ready for your orders, Executive Manager. I, Otis, am prepared for you to answer. Otis, I'm prepared to your call whenever and wherever. Hang on. I just need to finish this bite. Everyone to me! He only got 3 responses! Yeah, he knew what 2 of them... He knew what... Where Saul was gonna say. Yes, manager. Malcolm! Just spamming it on! Alright guys, listen. I'm gonna be honest. I probably can just win rate most of the time. Oop. These ring members gotta be like super confused too, because like they come to the door and suddenly there's 5 ring members fighting them. They're probably like, huh? Are we on the same side?
자, 봐라. 아까부터 두드려 맞더만 배급박이 헷가닥 해보는 것 같다.
떠올랐어요.
바지부터 드시고 해보는
아이씨, 짜증나게.
Should've just had her dodge.
이 정도쯤은
아! 놀랐네. 안돼, 이만치 할 줄 알았으면 빨리 좀 하지 그랬냐?
큰 흐름을
I
뒤집을
mean,
건
they didn't get through the door. Oh, it's
좋은
like 10 of them.
움직임이로구나.
I think we win this turn, huh? Maybe.
저의 뼈를 크게 잡고 저의 살로 채워라. 외면의 예술. 차포자리라.
No, I think you just win this turn, huh?
그소자 이제야 친해졌네.
Yeah, because he's just closing times here and then what? Yeah. Yeah, that. Yeah, we win this turn, right?
항상 저희 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
Okay, maybe not.
놀만치 노른 것 같은 게 이제 싸게 치어불고 들어가자. 고생들이었다.
So yeah, like I said, we win this turn because Honglu just, you know, it's only the first door and the impediments are already beyond expected levels. I swear I thought that was it for me back there. Events of this nature won't be frequent. We were merely beset by ill luck. So welcome to LCB, where that's all we do. If you listened to me before we picked another door, we would have got cooked like that in the first place. Like, why even drag me into this if you weren't going to trust me, weirdos? We would have opened them all at the end of the day. So don't worry. What's that? I hope it's so don't worry. Same difference. Dang it, man. Again, why shorten it like that? Just say duh or something. Just spell it out and say it was anticipated. What? Good work, everyone. Wayfarer does have a team dedicated to this sort of task, but the mortality rate is quite high. Honestly, I was bracing myself for the worst. The odds of completing this first door of an expedition without any casualties are under 15%. This, by all measure, counts as a flawless expedition. Wow. 10 Tapping away at his device, Alan addressed us with an amicable smile. He seemed totally different from the same man who had manhandled Kira with a fist to the face. Ah, my fist to your face style. Those Fosses won't be able to cross over anymore with the door completely locked down, right? That cannot be asserted with certainty. Are you saying the more might come? Yeah. The corridors and back doors have always been the ring's turf. Clock. Now, those Fosses beasts have endured as a long-standing faction within the ring. If they got that much history, they must know many back doors, both the origins and destination points. Alan clarified what Ryoshi was hinting at. Ah, so they can just find another one. Yes, compared to them, we lack sufficient knowledge of alternate routes, which makes it difficult to prevent infiltration. No need to concern yourself over much. Oh yeah? Why not? Even if that were the case, it is unlikely they would move on the House of Spiders so soon. They could always rush for a surprise attack, though. Even that, Foster's Maestro seemed to lack clear intel on the events that took place in the House of Spiders. So if so, it follows that very likely need time to assess and deliberate about the situation. The logical scope of their concerns will be identifying the organization that has secured the House of Spiders, the possibility of additional traps beyond the back doors, and the like. Once all back doors related procedures tied to the House of Spiders are complete, the resulting security framework should be able to preempt and block any infiltration attempts. Oh, that's nice. This operation is more important than I thought. That aside, why couldn't I draw the blade? Is it the new scabbard's fault? Ryoshi lifted the sheathed sword with an irritated frown. And that's when I felt a faint vibration. The blade was twitching ever so slightly. That quivering, most faint, was seen by all indeed. Damn, I saw it too. Is it possessed or something? These two idiots, man. Looks like I wasn't the only one who saw the sword twitching, as though it wasn't pleased at all with that Ryoshi was talking about the scabbard. Ryoshi's gaze lingered on the sword before slowly shifting towards the back doors. Could it be that seeing the scabbard brought back some memories of Arya? Ryoshi, do you... I don't know that... A demon's eyes, an enchanted blade? Which is it? I still don't know what that means. It's probably neither of those, nor is it a sentient sword. Oh! This was a fine opportunity to conduct another examination of the sword. Excuse us for a moment. Team Leader Alan. He's like, yeah, sure. Please feel free to go ahead. The attack just now damaged some devices, so we're going to have to perform some maintenance before continuing. There's plenty of other work for me to do while you're away too. Okay, fine. Get rid of us. We would return to the headquarters research facility then? No, that wouldn't be nice to know. There's a facility here that can prove more than adequate. Okay, where are we going?
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴
Yeah, like he just did all the damage at one time. Like,
인정받은 세 가지 작품을
in
뜻하죠.
one turn. It's somehow he could finish second.
지금 제
How'd that
작품이
happen?
만인의 신금을
The one who
울리지는
finished last is the one who I expected.
여전히 반지에 부끄럽지 않은 작품을 선보이고 있네요.
Okay, anyway. Relics and the sign. Offenheim brought us to what looked like a research lab lined with cables, rows of screens, and diagrams full of complex symbols and shapes. Okay. I didn't know there was a place like this in the House of Spiders. This is a forward base constructed by Limbus Company following Operation Spider prior. It did not exist prior to the house's fall. It is intended for additional backdoor investigation and research into irregular phenomenon observed during the operation. That'd be useful. Irregular phenomenon. An example. Research subjects such as a spatial analysis of the correlation between the emergence of Sinner number 11 sign and a manifestation of possible future. Oh. Looking around, I spotted Sinclair and a group of researchers surrounding him, the same people who had dragged him off earlier. They were accompanied by a gaggle of sinners who had tagged along to either watch the show or kill some time while they took a breather after work. Hoffenheim, how long will the examination take? With Sinclair's biometric assessment concluded, the analyzer device should be available for the relic now. Which means that it should be finished in an hour from now at the latest. Scabbard rattled again at the mention of an hour. I don't know why or how. The way it swayed almost felt like a child trembling. It's moving again. Come along, Ryoshi. I expect you will want to witness the procedure. Fine. I hope it's like a scan over, and instead of the scabbard, it's just a picture of Arya on the screen. Ryoshi and Hoffenheim headed off to the side. The examination. Time to get to Sinclair, then wait. We're also joining the gaggle of sinners watching Sinclair get poked in product. As I was making my way towards Sinclair, who was getting bombarded with questions, when an unexpected figure emerged from behind the pillar and caught my eye. It was Vespa Crabro, with a big piece of paper covered in crooked handwriting taped on his back. Snack thief. Manager. Please get me out of here. Tear on snacks. Mr. Stringbean ate up all of them. Sorry, but I think there's been some misunderstanding. Verge, kick his ass. Not only is this matter not worth pointing fingers over, but Charon also shares some of the responsibility for leaving them out on the table unattended. Still, I prefer you exercise more care next time, or you'll put me in a tough spot. Turns on the red eyes for this. Understood. Charon? Charon super sulky mode engaged, not talking for half a day. Deploying super pass bitter candy. Beep beep mode disabled. I'm not sure this is an appropriate request, but may I remove the paper from my back now? It's a little inconvenient for me. Charon forgives this time. Next time, no mercy. Best make sure she doesn't listen to that radio channel again. Verge looked on with an inscrutable expression as Charon peeled the snack thief sign off Vespa's back. Make sure to remember this, so I don't have to think I'm burning through what little candy chances I have left on such trivial nonsense. Thank you. Vespa gave a polite thanks, but she was already picking something off another plate and stuffing it into his mouth. Wait a minute, I was saving that for later. I assumed you were being picky. But now you know, yet I still see you gobbling up my share. He took my snacks too. Verge, kick his ass. Rodian Romovich. I'm aware that half of the total snack budget allocated to each center is being funneled into your snacking expenses, and now you're raiding the LCE supplies as well. Chill, that's toast but agreed upon, okay? Besides, that's that, and this is this. The last anniversary looked deeper than usual today. Hoping to help him out of this endless cycle of snack-related headaches and satisfy my own nagging curiosity, I drew our guy and broke his brooding silence with my TikToks. Did we learn anything about Sinclair's sign? Dante is inquiring about the outcome of the research on the sign. I've heard from researchers, but nothing of particular significance came out of it. Observation of the sign has so far been limited to 2 individuals, The manager and Sinclair, due to the limited accessibility to the phenomenon. The only verifiable information has so far been its existence. Researching that which cannot be observed is bound to be difficult. Foss has a point. Aside from Sinclair, none of the sinners can actually see the sign. And the same would go for the researchers. Even Sonia said only a select few people could perceive it. If there were more individuals bearing the sign, this would be a wider pool of comparative analysis of statistical samples to narrow down the scope. However, records indicate no suitable references exist. At present, the research effort is limited to reducing variables such as whether or not the irregular phenomenon are tied to the location where the battle took place. By individuals bearing the sign, do you mean people like Damien and Sanson? Wait, then could those guys do what Sinclair did? Pull in some superpowered future self and just wreck everything? Even Sonia? I should step in and put it into this subject before Rhodia gets the blues. I don't think so, from what Ishmael and Foss reported back then. Right, Sinclair's from the future said each sign carries a different power, I think. Maybe, you know, those layers of light rings around Damien used to finish our cruiser, or Sanson's dragging us into his stories. Those could be it. That does seem plausible. So none of that is information we can confirm yet. Correct. As you have stated, any discussion of this subject would not venture beyond the realm of wide speculation. Nothing has been proven yet, ergo, fear would be unnecessary response at the present. This is at best grounded in supposition, but it seems that the researchers are coaxing forth a hypothesis from the vestiges left in the wake of Sinclair's future self. Oh, that bit about the sign maybe being some singularity or whatever, yeah? The precise position of the hypothesis was that fundamental principles of the sign working may be equivalent to those of singularities or relics. Mouse getting. But as no actionable evidence was obtained from Sinclair, there is presently no means by which this hypothesis may be validated. I see. Then nothing came out of them dragging Sinclair off for that research. Oh, you also thought I was being dragged off, but still let it happen anyway, huh? Yeah, I see how it is, Dante. No, I mean... Haha, I'm kidding. Just thought I'd try going along with the mood. Haha. Sinclair is plotting. The old Sinclair wouldn't even have thought of joke around like that. You really changed, lady. For the better, I think. Sinclair is plotting our death. So, did anything happen that we should worry about? I stuck close to him just in case nothing serious came up. Just took some blood, a small skin sample. Oh, and they also checking if the sign reacts to electrical stimulation. Okay. Yeah, and I had to fill out some questionnaires too. Oh yeah? Like a psych evaluation, half the sinners could use that. Things like, please describe what you remember from the battle exactly as it happened, or list the sensations you felt when you regained consciousness. And your memories of that moment have yet to return? No, I don't know if they'll ever come back, actually. Foss said they only exist with my future self, so... Wait, but my future self to even have those memories, shouldn't I carry them in the first place? Huh? Which comes first? What? A paradox it would seem, in such a case. I love that Sinclair is merely one branch among many possible futures. If the future unfurls in boundless branches by means of ceaseless bifurcation, then the body of information that constitutes a certain future would scatter into the grains more fleeting than dust, to diminish, to ever reverse their course and trace their path back to the self that now exists, as that theory suggested. Not a certainty, but a plausible interpretation. Here you go again. More of that nonsense only you lot understand. Oi! Remember or not, that future guy still came out of him, didn't he? Say we can beat him out of him again. And some part of him's got to be left in there somewhere, yeah? Like muscle memory or whatever. Perhaps he could still pull off some of those tricks back then. tricks from back then. Heard you kicked off proper out there. Even pulled that trick you picked up from that plastered old geezer, right? Not just that, he was using that Mong technique quite effortlessly too. What? That glowing ring thing? Yep, the glowing ring thing. He had 2 of them coiled around his weapon. I used the glowing ring thing. This is the first time I'm hearing anything about it. Come on, Sinclair, form Mong right now. Alright, so what exactly is the glowing ring thing, anyone? Maybe some technique that enhances physical capabilities? I mean, I guess that flashy aura that makes you really tough, one part of it. But there's gotta be more, right? Don't know. Could be a secret finger thing they pass down to their members. Technique, gear, something like that. Look at it. That black coney leader, that lay hang prick, and the nurse fathers we fought. Whole lot of them fingers, ain't they? The notion seems to unravel, for even among LCD, there were those who came to wield it. And Virgilius too. Huh? So what? Only proper hard bastards can use it. Some posh top-end trick, is it? Without anyone in particular prompting it, the center slowly turned their gaze toward Virgilius and Vespa. This man is still eating! Only learned to wield it from my team leader too. I have a sensory understanding of Shin, but I claim nothing too profound. However, what I could spare some rumors, though they are all without proper sources. Rumors. They circulate among elite fixers and association leadership. That there exists a power called Shin, capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs. A rumor among fixers, sayest thou? Yes, even the technique to manifest it, how-to tips, really spread through hearsay. Oh yeah, that tracks. That super rookie column in the latest mag bonus vid, bro was really popping off with it. Straight up aura farm with a shiny Mong wrapped around the weapon. Most of their minds are yet to be privy to seeing such a marvel in a video. Wait, you serious? It's in the latest issue. Literally on the videotape in the back. Maybe you missed it. Videotape, huh? Alas, for many a week have I been stranded from Mephi, reaving for a chance to read not only the prior chronicle, but the latest one as well. Woe is me. When I return, I shall feast through the night upon those noble exploits of adventuring fixers. As Don Quixote dramatically spiraled into a state of utter dejection, Otis cut into the conversation, her gaze narrowing with suspicion. From what I recall, the mantle of Shin Grants uses a high degree of physical enhancement. Okay, you just know this now? There's no such thing as reinforcement without supplies. No power of that magnitude comes without an equivalent cost to wield it. That power relies on emotion and will for manifestation. Its output is not consistent like and depending on how it's used, the consequences it demands can reach levels comparable to the egos you use. You mean to say that it exacts a toll upon the mind? I can walk you through the fundamentals if you'd like. From what I observed, it appeared to be a technique reserved for those of considerable strength. At our current level, it is unreasonable to assume we could make use of it. Oh, is it not unreasonable to assume we could? Regarding that, our team leader has been conducting intensive research. And according to her, physical strength itself has little bearing on one's ability to learn and wield Shin. As the Yellow Harpoon says, it is in essence a power that can be learned by almost anyone provided they know proper method of training. So like if I'm getting bullied at school and I'm like, I don't know, in middle school or something, and I finally turn on the bullies, I can like manifest Shin or Mong and beat them up. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's a big fan of his own title, the Yellow Harpoon. Or maybe he shouldn't have registered with it. Well, it fits, I think. He's got those yellow stripes on his clothes, and he uses a harpoon, too. Can he argue with that? If I were to exaggerate, even ye saying pre-contract self could manage to learn it. Why must this self of mine be chosen as the point of comparison? Well, because you're the wimpiest one here. Don't let it get to you. That's right. Week into the level have to stick together. I bet you like fell over. Even so, it would be a mistake to assume it's a power anyone can grasp with ease. As long as you are bound by the contract as sinners, your ability to wield it will be severely limited. Unless you rely on particular identities or come upon an extraordinary circumstance. Okay. Same. Shame that would have been useful. It would have been, Heathcliff. Hey, what about me? Can I learn it too? Kara, who had been fidgeting with her fingers, raised an arm and asked as though she couldn't hold the question back any longer. Come to think of it, the middle nurse father didn't use any Shen or Mong. Papa never taught me how to use it. He always said I could get stronger without a stupid crutch like that. Ha! It wasn't that he didn't teach you, he couldn't. He was a man who probably had never once reflected upon his own sins. A piece of trash like him would be incapable of even comprehending such a power in the first place. Yeah, lay it out, Vespa. Vespa's response always come back dripping with venomous hatred whenever the conversation turns to the topic of the fingers. Kira must have noticed too, or perhaps she simply couldn't find the right words to push back. Either way, she held her tongue, her expression settling into a blend of frustration and something that looked a little too close to sadness. If you want to reduce it to a yes or no, then yes, you will be able to learn it, with the odds in your favor. Oh, that's good. That is, assuming that the company decides to tolerate your continued existence. Already said I get it. As it stands, you're nothing more than a pending case of disposal, closer to a threat than you are to an ally, strictly speaking. Don't get comfortable because the manager and the centers treat you with leniency. Step out of line and you will be the one who pays the price. There was nothing in what Virgilia said that I could argue with. Kira had been a member of the house. We know this already. Right? Yeah, we know this too, Dante. Like, and there's plenty of memories we'd rather not. We know this, Dante. I'm gonna drink some water while they just reiterate stuff we already know. The examination is concluded. I suppose it won't be an issue to let you hear the results together. Oh yeah, group time. Alright everyone, gather around in a circle. Alright. Had a drink of water. Not like super parched anymore. Tongue is not drying out. I thought there would be more fights. I guess not. I mean, to be fair, okay, this is 14 parts and I'm at part 5. So there's still plenty of time for more fights. To present the conclusion first, no, the notion of the sword being sentient one is incorrect. The locus of the will is not the blade but the scabbard. An ego forged in a rather paradoxical nature, yes, that would be the most appropriate description. Not a sentient sword, huh? Yeshu's grumpy dismissal made the scabbard quiver almost as if it had taken offense. Somehow, I felt like I could understand what Hoffenheim meant by will now. It was a reunion of sorts, one that gave both a tinge of sadness and hope. If the scabbard has its own will, does that mean that the owner of that will can be resurrected? It's too premature to deliberate on the matter. The state of existence under question is not one that may be defined as death at the moment. I assume they ask whether it can be revived or brought back to life, so to speak. Even supposing that survival is a fixed variable, and that reconstitution of the original corporeal body falls in the realm of theoretical possibility, the probability approaches zero given the limits of today's technology and the conditions. That's okay, we have random nonsense to pull out sometimes. We researchers are inclined to entertain even infinitesimal chances, but in terminology of the lay people like yourself, such a project would be labeled impossible, wouldn't it? There is no need to fixate on the impossibilities of the present manager, Dante. Such matters are reserved for us scientists to hold on to. Right. But we may have uncovered a thread, something that could lead to restoring Senator Ryoshi's memories, though again, that too is merely a possibility. A far more practical avenue for you to pursue at the moment, nevertheless. Okay, great, where are we going? Oh, and we're moving around, and to that end, yes, further analysis of the scatter itself would be necessary. Coordinate with Alan for your next duty. He should still be in the ring nurse father's quarters. That will be all. Okay, bye Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim cut himself off there, clamping his mouth shut as if any further exchange might scatter and mess up the theories he constructed in our conversation. Okay, and he's gone. To do the impossible, I hope. Alright, then, before we go, anyone want to tag along? Anyone? Munching on food, averting their gaze, the sinners were pretending they weren't interested at all. But, going by the way their forks had long since stopped moving, it was pretty clear to me that they'd been intently listening in on our conversation. So that you guys want to come? Where are we going? Where are we to go? Oh, right, sorry, forgot the rest of you weren't there with us earlier. Alright, the prisoner of war executive manager. Is this still on it? No, I took it off. You talking about me? Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm working with them too. Yeah. Best remember to tread carefully. Should you cause even the slightest harm to the executive manager, you will be held accountable without exception. Yeah, with this. Okay, calm down. Yeah, sure, whatevs. Kira needled at Otis with a mocking pout, but oddly enough, she didn't appear particularly irritated. Anyway, I think it'd be better if we had a few more people, just to be safe. You're right, Dante. One of the doors we went into earlier led straight to the rings corridor. That was close call. It was. Otis and Heathcliff's heads shot up the moment I finished speaking. I would have very much liked to accompany you, executive manager. I knew I could rely on you, Otis. Yes, your recognition of my loyalty honors me, executive manager. I, Otis, understand better than anyone your concerns about the peril of working with a prisoner of war so liable to betray. To have your indispensable self preceded with only a handful of soldiers under your command, this cannot stand. I'm afraid I won't be able to focus on other duties without personally seeing to your safety. Thank you. Yeah, glaze me. I get it, Otis. You've made your point clear enough. Not keen on how I just keel over the moment you summon me. Feel a bit dodgy that. Better I stick by your side and scrap it out myself. You probably don't need me to come along then, I guess. You can just summon the rest of us like you did earlier if shit hits the fan. Our research, yet unfinished, holds my efforts. I shall join you once it's has found closure. Haha, I don't think I can be much help whatever you're going. I'll pass. I will follow if that is your order, manager. You don't have to follow. No, it's fine. Just get some rest. Very well, manager. And it'll probably be okay. I can always summon them again if things get too dangerous. Man, for now, let's go see Alan again. He learned one new combat move and he just spams it, huh? It's like you learn your new combo in a fighting game and he's immediately hit the combo button every time. Even when it's not appropriate, he hits the combat. He hits the button. He hits the buttons even if it's not the right time to hit the buttons. Okay.
어떤 조직 놈들인지 몇면
Who am I gonna
받을까?
slot in when I get Marisol? I don't know. Ah, you've arrived. I was waiting for you. The next step would be to enter the alternate door. Hold up a sec. I was actually gatekeeping more stuff. Well, gatekeep girl boss. Gaslight, gatekeep girl boss. Gatekeeping are saying you have more to tell about the gates and doors? Yup. That door over there, pretty sure it's connected to the in-corp desk. I saw Abia go in it, all hyped about some canned whatever it was. And that wooden door with a bandage wrapped around the handle, Papa go in there, cross out vengeances. From what the book said, probably a turf protected by a thumb subsidiary or something. Unlike earlier when she offered only vague snippets, even about just a single door. Kara was now feeding Alan a stream of intel that seemed solid even to someone as clueless about the back door as me. And I'm clueless. He seems far more cooperative than anticipated, even after that Alan character roughed her up, from what I hear. Yeah, we gotta kill him, okay? You follow all my orders, correct? Kill him. Yeah, I think she'd clam up out of spite. I wonder if she changed her mind about cooperating with us. Nevertheless, we mustn't let our guard down, executive manager. There's no telling when she'll turn on us. That's true. There's no telling when you'll turn on me. Frickin', I can literally hear everything you're saying, you know. Did we not whispering? Alright then, based on the intel, please proceed by investigating the safest doors first. As for the high-risk ones, I'll continue checking and let you know which ones you need to enter. Oh, wait, no, one of them leads to Incorp. The next interval is us just going, we're gonna go through another door. I'll tinker with the device. We're still gonna be at H-Corp. We're still gonna be an H-Corp. We're gonna be an H-Corp going to Incorp. Just through the door. They all look about the same. Just start with the closest one, and then once we finish the interval, we're gonna go back through. Oh no, we're gonna be in the room. Well, I did say these are the safest ones. Just as I reached for the nearest door, as Heathcliff told me to, Ryoshi suddenly veered off, stopping in front of another one that stood a few steps apart. This door, it feels familiar. You recognize that door? I think I passed through it a few times when I was little. Hardly had Ryoshi stopped speaking when a fragment of memory painted over it in parts slipped into my mind. Sorry, it hurt a lot, didn't it? I should have finished my homework faster. Oh, I know. Let's go for a walk. But I don't recall much about it. That memory just now. Could it be tied to Arya? Let's start with that door. Okay, this one, yeah? Go! Impatient as ever, Heathcliff shoved the door open, strode in first. The rest of us followed, including Kira and the other sinners. Now, that would be the rest of us. And this place, this is a miserable park. Judging by its state, it seems to be a welfare facility located within a nest, most likely a park. Okay. Every sod walking here is dragging some animal along. It means they got money to burn. Proper rich lot, this place. The walk and the path Ryoshi mentioned in memories, and the sight of people fussing over their pets. The pieces clicked together and I voiced the other memory I saw back at the House of Spiders. This is where Ryoshi walked her dog. Did you ever come here with a puppy named Saru? Yeah, I remember that. Not a puppy though. Star was a bit bigger by then. Sorry, did it hurt a lot? Oh no! Why isn't she getting any better? I gave her lots to eat. Oh, I know. Want to go for a walkies? You love walkies, don't you, Zaru? There's this workshop Dad always is at the door there's connected to a park. We can go right now. Persia's childhood memories burned bright in my vision before passing. That was her as a kid? Barely. Such a gentleness doth seem unlikely, Yasuyoshi. Ickblock, who said you could show them my memories willy-nilly. I don't control this. No, come on. You know it's not something I can control. Get good. Look at the house of spiders. I was the only one who could see the vision of Ryoshi's fan. This time, though, her memories seem to be manifest for everyone around. Just like what we experienced in Ace Court with Hong Lu. I'm glad they're tying up that plot hole. Which probably means... Why are y'all staring at me? That's so random. What the hell? That's so random. It's a party. Did you not just see that just now? See what? You guys zoning out together? It was a team effort, really. Guess it doesn't apply to Kira. But again, unlike how it was between Lin Daiyu and Hong Lu, Kira doesn't have any direct connection to Ryoshi. Doesn't make sense. But the one with Matthias, though, that's what she's gonna see. Was that adorable hound like companion of old young Ryoshi? Indeed, my one and only best friend. Because of that, sorry. Could be locked away in the vault every time I had to depart on assignment. With a spiral driven through her. First ever leash, looking back, might have been a kinder fate had she died sooner. To inflict such cruelty upon a voiceless animal. How can such a wickedness be born? What happened to Saru in the end? I got turned into a blade. We know this. She died before time. Yeah. I don't recall why. But there was this day when Saru wouldn't stop whimpering in pain, and I shut myself in my room crying. You were, not someone else. Who else? Of course, it was me. Even after witnessing the fragment of memory, Heathcliff looked utterly unconvinced. And while I was grieving, Callisto offered a solution. He said he would give me a gift the next day. Yeah, that's not... And what I received was... something he called the Beast Bone Blade. A Tanto that would whine and yelp with Saru's voice with every swing. Oh! My goodness. Always knew there was something creepy with Roboon, so that's how he killed your dog, huh? No, he didn't kill Saru. That Tanto was alive. Oh! Did you just say alive? Bloody hell! A right nutter, that psycho! Her eyes were embedded in it like an adornment, and they stare at me in accusation. Tiny heart beat as though it was quaking with fear. This is terrible. This is awful. It was a horrible sight, and I felt pity. Did you, like, burn the blade? So, I shortened what remained of her time with my own hands. Got me thinking after hearing all that, why'd you still mess with that art thing, then? Let's be honest, after seeing something like that, you'd want to steer well clear, yeah? Right? This thing's he called artworks for all it's cursed. Straight up nightmare fuel. Hashtag relatable. Like, I haven't really checked out other ring artworks outside Albion's and her nurse fathers, so maybe I'm just a noob when it comes to all that, but yeah, their stuff never gave me any art vibes for real. I thought the same. Well, I was terrified at first, yet, as I learned more, there were some facets that suited my taste. Thou find this appeal in those grotesque creations. From what you've told me about Callisto, it looks like he failed to stick to his own advice. there's something he always used to say. Art is wholly subjective, and thus one must never expect the understanding of others. The uncanny, the horrible, there's a beauty that lies in the grotesqueness of it all. Can't say I quite get it, but if you say so. Nah, but bloody hell, how did you end up getting used to that kind of thing? Well, you need to understand, you're not an artist. That's true, Heathcliff, you are not an artist. I got used to it, but that bastard Callisto's installation artworks caused night terrors and nightmares for... Rattle. The scabbard moved and Ryoshi came to a pause. It trembled, but there was at once a strange liveliness to it, as though it quivered between fear and anticipation. Night terrors, crying from night terrors, and the heights of spiders. There's actually someone who got scared of ring stuff back in your day. I need to check something. We've seen enough here. Let's go back. Yeah, nothing else worth checking around here anyway. It said there was a combat in here. I guess the ring must break in now. We quickly followed Ryoshi back. She stood in front of the artworks covered in sheets of cloth, lost in thought. Right here, there used to be a huge artwork displayed here. I don't know what kind of impulse struck him, but the bastard went about fussing, saying he needed practice so he wouldn't lose his touch. Bobby! What's wrong? Over there. Over where? Thought I told you to keep the expositions in your room. Ah, you've returned, Yoshida. I decided to attempt installation art of a somewhat larger scale this time, but I ran out of space in my gallery. Mommy, people were screaming. Dearest Yoshida, Arya has reached an age where she may be introduced into the world of aesthetics. Surely this wouldn't be a problem. It would. You liking it and me acquiring the taste doesn't mean Arya will. Let's get you back to our room. I was hugging something in my arms. It was crying. You said the name. Saru, no. Too big to be Saru. The lacerated memories can never be made whole, no matter how many fragments are glued together. We could tell Ryoshi everything we knew about Arya, but it never truly reached her. I see this hollow void. This must be Arya. Sensation and emotion from what would have been empty began to entangle with Ryoshi's memories. And that makes it possible for us to reminisce about Arya together. What are we gonna reminisce about? Gabe seems somehow pleased with this small step. Alright, time to check out the next door. Surprise, all ring. We entered several more back doors than Alan pointed out. But unfortunately, none of the places we ended up in stirred Ryoshi's memories any further. Pretty much nothing here. I think we're done, What the? How'd they get in here? Startled, Kiria pointed ahead with figures wearing animal masks or hauling what looked like massive lumps of flesh hidden behind a tent of sorts. Okay, so they're just like, what? Looney Tunes stealing? Those ring assailants from before. Didst thou not say thou had sealed the door earlier? How then do these villains come to stand before us once more? They probably infiltrated via an entirely separate route, another back door. As you can see, their objective appears to be the retrieval of the Ring Nurse Father's artworks. Get on with it. We need to move as many pieces as we can before we pull out. Wait, but I thought Robo-Unk was washed. He got so many fanboys and fangirls here. Ha! Does this art possess value in and of itself? No, it's like after the artist dies, their art gains value. Or is it just a case of posthumous premium of death effect? just said that. Some of the pieces have already been taken. Of course, they are of little value to both our companies. Watch them sweating and struggling to drag those mediocre pieces with them. Pretty funny. But imagining how those pieces will be labeled with some pathetic notion of heritage connected to my name on their description plaque, pretty unsavory. They may be occupied with transporting those objects for now, but they will likely soon find cause to harm the Wayfarers and LCE personnel stationed here, Executive Manager. I don't know, maybe we can make a deal that they can carry out the pieces and we can, just keep doing what we're doing. It would be prudent to eliminate them without delay, considering their ring's reputation. Otis is right. Better to wipe them out before they try anything stupid. Guys, looks like we've got another job to do. Lend me a hand. The radio didn't buzz with the senator's replies this time, but it should be fine. I see what they mean by next canto. Dante's break.
단순해서 좋군. 9번 수감자. 물론 좋은 성과를 갖고 돌아온다면 달고 짭짤한 걸 준비해두지.
Come on, Rosie. Bing, bing, bing.
무게감도 없고 멋도 없는 교추목. 바삭해. 방금의 혹시나 비피었잖아.
짜증나게.
불을 건드렸겠다. 보자, 싸울 준비는 끝났을까? 무엇을 그렇게 깝깝하게 쳐다만 보고 있고 그런다냐? 저런 놈들.
아이씨, 짜증나게. 저기 술에 취한 한량처럼 허둥거리니
Honglu's rampant.
지금이겠구나.
We should get close to Dunban.
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이 나. 이 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이 더 나은 방법이지.
차 보여드려야겠군요. 내 사람들보다 위에 있으려 좋구나.
일리 있는 의견이다. 그걸로
좋아, 이번에는 제대로 들어가.
I think the fight's almost over.
항상
놀랐네.
저희 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
그만 치겠어. 빨리 좀 하지 그랬냐?
바이올렛. 일사적으로 가져갈래요.
나쁘지 않고
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요, 단테. 적합한 조치였습니다.
Sure.
전부 쳐주게! 볼만치 노른 것
We all get
같은
these
게
claw marks on us like it's
싸게
supposed to be
지어보러
normal.
들어가자. 고생들이었다.
With this, the last of the ring infiltrators have been eradicated. Yippee! Was that all of them? Yeah, that's what she just said. Searching around for someone, but unfortunately no other ring members were in sight. Right. But where the hell were those lot coming from anyway? Weren't just the first wave had more of them sods legging it in from the back like been lurking somewhere else. According to the tracking logs recorded by the surveillance devices installed here, they appear to have crossed over from another corridor. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. You just know where we're going. Another corridor. Doo-doo-doo. Another corridor. What precisely does the destination another corridor refer to? Yeah, there's probably like 20 of them. The room resembling a shopping mall, the one filled with batches of toys on display. Your company, if I recall, correctly designated as the corridor of the middle nurse father. Ah, that's where we're going. Oh. I suggest we relocate there. Your assigned tasks here have been wrapped up. Oh, and before we set off, do you have any information to share in advance? We are planning to compile a comprehensive encyclopedia cataloging the notable characteristics of these corridors and all of their connections loci. Your cooperation will be most appreciated. Kira seemed to hesitate, gnawing at her nails as if she were going through an inner struggle. For long, however, she snapped out of it like she had just locked in on a decision. Sure, I guess to tell you, like, hella stuff. Some parts are kind of fuzzy, not gonna lie, but I can still recall like 20 places clear enough. I mean, it was home for me in Pop-Up, so... I got nothing. I never once regarded that fucker's room as a home, and my memories of it are all fragments at best. Scabber gave a faint, restless stir. Perhaps it wanted to comfort Ryoshu in the only way it could, by slashing something. And accompanied by its tremor, we began our move towards the corridor of the middle.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을
Okay,
뜻하죠.
they're acting like we don't know who's here, but like it's
지금
just
제
more
작품이
ring
만인의
dudes,
신분을
right?
올리지는
It's who's gonna be here.
못하더라도 여전히 반지에 부끄럽지 않은 작품을 서두르지 말고
I see continuable,
느긋하고
and I get so
여유롭게
confused, and then I remember that they added continues in this game. The heck? They swept everything that wasn't nailed down, huh? Fret not, especially thither half of thy worldly possessions, articulate fixer figurines, video games, cartridges. I'm not talking about my toy box, okay? I had a hella many of them anyway. My TV's gone, the couch too. As Kira said, only a copious empty space was left for the television and family couch set used to be. Oh, those LCD reachers just haul them away. From the sound of it, they're going to set them up in their staff lounge. Wow. As for the leather and the ornaments, they said they'll be selling them off. Yeah? Oda seemed to notice something that moment. She caught Kira's wistful look. Corners of her lips curled into a faint smile as she spoke with feigned nonchalance. Who knows? With sufficient cooperation, perhaps they become more receptive to the idea of returning those items. Assuming much. I never said I wanted them back. Anyway, I'll tell you about what I know. So come this way if you want in. It's taking us to the Cool Kids Club. These two doors here, made from paper and wood, they connect to S Corp. That one's reinforced with steel. That leads to V Corp, back streets where... Having lived here and made frequent use of the doors herself, Kira was clearly the right person for the job of identifying where each door Wayfarer Company had asked us to explore led. Directed by Kira and accompanied by Alan, we checked the doors one by one. Good work. All data seems to match. Thank you for your cooperation. Until there's just one back door left to open. I know there's anything new, but I gotta say, these back doors are just too bloody convenient. Them portals, too. It ain't doing anything shady like the warp trains either, is it? Yours is as simple as turning the knob and entering. Seems to me you'll outpace your business rival in no time. I'm a bit hard-pressed to agree with the too convenient sentiment when it comes to using back doors and portals, but since your intent was to claim Wayfarer's superiority over the current W Corp, I'll take that as a compliment. Did I say something wrong? Every technology comes with a cost, Heathcliff. Okay, what are we paying then? Aptly said. Well, this has been a workday relatively free of casualties thanks to the quality information you've provided. Do understand that Wayfarer Company's primary service include pathfinding, path security, and path maintenance. Each of those services is fraught with life-threatening dangers. For our employees, some never return after embarking on a pathfinding journey. Some are killed while battling monstrous entities whose exact natures haven't even been confirmed yet. That appears in the liminal space between paths. Oh, so you are just doing a little bit what W Corp does. It also costs a pretty penny to keep the secured path well secured. I say our operating cost is on the rather steep side, especially considering that we are also trying to prevent our rivals from taking this corner of the market. Thinking back, I don't think I've ever seen Alan enter a door to a new location with his helmet off. It must be one of his precautions, just in case, which is honestly a pretty good idea. Maybe his dry smile and sudden lack of reaction to anything are hints that he simply seen too much to be fazed by most horrors. Still, our work's gotten considerably easier for this job, thanks to the help from everyone here. Honestly, this partnership is working much better than I expected. Very well then, let's take a look at the last door. Ah, it's the door Papa used to walk through all the time. I followed Kira into the door, and the second I crossed over the threshold, a breeze carrying an oddly familiar salty smell tickled to the tip of my croc hands. This connects to somewhere in the general Great Lake area, it seems. Welcome to U-Corp's giant Stingray port ship. Stingray? Why does that ring a bell? Hang on a minute. Is that that place in it, that port ship that has Salon du Moselle, the private hair salon? Heathcliff chimed in with a shudder as the sheer weight behind his words terrified him. Oh snap, this is where Ricardo comes crashing in from the ceiling. Oh, does it signify then that we shall finally be made audience to young Keithus and his hairdo most luscious? Quit it with that luscious nonsense, lads. Why encourage me now when you're so cavalier about blasting my villainous ass back in the lake? I don't know, Heathcliff. Something tells me you're gonna be pretty luscious pretty soon. Indeed. Alas, 'tis true that punishment wrought with my merry brand have severely outweighed the crime. Would thou not agree, young Heathcliff, that to put those who can't use for remedy a pain a smidge? Ah, bugger it. I ain't even got anyone to spruce up for anymore. Sweet, then can I use them? We were regulars at that Molek's place, Papa and me. Papa would ask the middle fam for a favor, and he'd bring loads of coupons back home. They gave away a free coupon every haircut every 10 visits, you see. So what am I yapping about? All the excited. Kira, who seemed ready to launch into a cheerful rant, came to an abrupt pause like a bike tripping over a ledge. Her face fell as she lowered her gaze and scuffed a pebble away. Looking back, I guess Papa did hella care for me. So why? But it's also true these guys went out of their way to get me out of there, even though they didn't know me so well. Why's it gotta be so complicated? Matthias gave you that unesthetic bowl cut. Heck's a bowl cut. Bowl cut. Bro, listen, like I said, that's not how you shorten these things. Rage baiting. For some reason, Ryosha seemed almost gleeful to hear Kira correcting her acronym. It was reminiscent of that self-satisfied look she got after confusing us with these acronyms, especially during the earlier days of our bus journey, before Sinclair became a translator. Thinking back, ever since Sinclair translations became reliable enough, the sinners had less reason to voice their frustrations with Ryoshi's acronyms, which, in turn, gave her fewer causes to snicker about it. I'm not sure why, but something tells me that she might be making her acronyms ridiculous incomprehensible on purpose. Oh, really? If your conjecture is correct, Executive Manor, she has one tasteless sense of humor. From what I recall, the toys and games he was into were pretty retro. Must have been annoying to play along. At first, but the more I played along, the more I got into it. Still, corny and juvenile shit though. I know aught of that conflict within thee. Yeah, of course you do, Don. Trifling and apocurial they may be, yet we were all compelled to peer hindwards at the interests of the family. Yeah, I want to know what Papa was into to really get what he was talking about. Besides, I need to know these things if I wanted to chat him up and talk about a mutual subject, so... He tell me about you all the time, Yoshida. Proud shit. Not a day went by without him saying stuff like, Yoshida learned this in 2 days, or, yo, this was Yoshida's fave, you know? Too bad I wasn't here to tell you that his words weren't worth shit. I once thought of him the same as you do now. Good man, at least among the nurse fathers. Caring enough to bring me gifts. But one day, I realized that he'd never understand the things I really cared about, and even if his life had depended on it. One day, thou sayest, pray tell, what thereof that had changed thy perception of that man? That, I don't remember when or why, just that it happened. Wait, I might know this. Wasn't it something that happened at school? Papa told me that things started getting awkward between you and him ever since you quit school. Bullshit, I've never been to school. I've never even thought of wanting to go to school. Matthias must have been talking out of his ass again. Nah, no way, bro. I even saw a clip of it. They got it on video? What? Papa showed me that video when he was teaching me how to use these doors. I even saw baby you going, I'm off to school, Dad, in that video, so I'm pretty dang sure. I'm sorry. But I don't. As Kira went on, Ryoshi's confidence from her initial retort seemed to slip away, so we've got Ryoshi baby videos. I couldn't blame her, so much of her memories have been mutilated. She did sound like she was denying it out of hand, though. She seemed to mean it when she said she'd never been to school and had never even wanted to. And I wanted to glimpse the fragments of memories that made her say that. The moment I willed it, a scene from her past suddenly flashed across my eyes. Very well, Yoshida. I'll register you at an institution that is not entirely dissimilar from school. There is a subsidiary of the ring. Academy. You sure it was a school, not like an art academy or something like that? Perchance it be an academy, not a school? Wait, that kind of makes more sense. Yeah, must have been an academy, not a school. Academy of Art. Ha! She muttered a few words as though they were pieces of a puzzle she was assembling. Then, after a brief moment, she turned towards me with an astounded scoff and a look of mild irritation. Clock. You deserve a smack. Then lightly smacked me upside the head with her scabbard. What was that for? This memory sucks, Clock. I would have just been fine without it. But at least I got to remember the incident. That changed my perspective of Matthias. Dad, how do I go to a school? School, Yoshida? Well, I don't see why you would wish, let alone need to go to such an institution when we nurse fathers are here to provide you with all the education you require. You would later find our unique style of homeschool to have been much more enlightening than trudging through any of the nest formulaic educational systems. But Dad, I saw him in a picture book. And I don't have any friends here. Oh, Raiden is pointless. But it is true that there are qualities that can be learned only through group irradiation that engenders competition. Very well, Yoshida. I will register you in an institution that is not entirely dissimilar from school. Really? Wow. I intend to send Yoshida to an academy as part of my educational curriculum. There's an Academy of Art, a subsidiary of the Ring. Companionship with other talented children of approximately her age will nourish the spirit of inspiration that will guide Yoshida's growth. Oh, Hermes GPT. The prescript approves. Oh, thank you, Hermes GPT. But Callisto, I'll tell you now that you might be making a mistake. And how are you so certain? The prescript says so. Hermes GPT. Do you elaborate if you can, hand puppet of the prescripts by whom every aspect of existence is articulated? What do you even know of choice, or of what right of wrong? And off they went. Perhaps a little more situational awareness would have prevented what is to come. Callisto had found a rather decent academy. I like to imagine he goes and chat Hermes GPT. What's the right answer? That used to scare me when I was 11. Or was it bad when I was with other kids? No, that's not correct. Even more accurate to say that I started to understand people's perspective on beauty. Oh yeah, Ryoshi? Of course, I would, when all we ever did was nod along to lectures and spout purple pros, all the while making pin cushions out of people's body like it was nothing. Our lessons today will focus on corpus techniques. Oh! Now take a good look at the diagram here. Then the mannequins before you. Weave the blood vessels into the same pattern as the diagram, and I don't know why we're even learning about corpus stuff in this day and age. Miffed child. Picky child, right? I don't get what the point of this slog is. Tying and shaping blood vessels to make a color that a drop of ink can do better. I read that in the book. Sigh. I'm more excited to learn about cubist techniques than this crap. These children are like, what? Elementary? Even Parker, it's just boring, shallow gore stuff. But what are these children, like elementary school? No, it's gory, but it's boring and shallow only because you guys are bad at it. What? Oh, you're mad because your daddy's a lame corpus? Oh, is he? No wonder his stuff is just as ow. I was taught that people who say bad things about my family deserve to get their butts kicked. Yeah! Them bad-mouthing Callisto wasn't actually what set me off. I didn't have any special reverence or attachment to family like Matthias did either. But yeah, why not? It's just what I was taught to dislike, that's all. Just one of those tantrum kids of that age have. Kids will be kids and all that. Yeah. I'm home, Dad. Hey, buddy, you're home early. Oh, man, you must have been playing rough today, huh? Got dust all over. Got into a fight. A fight? Yeah, they kept saying dumb things about class stuff, so I smacked them. What about you? They didn't hurt you anywhere, did they? Did they, buddy? Oh, my cheek. It's okay, because I punched them this many more times. Did I do good? That's my girl. Dad? Where you going? Oh, you know, just got some business to take care of. Why don't you sit tight and work on a coloring book? Dad'll be home before you know it. Okay. Is it bro business? No, it's family business. I ain't seeing what's so bad about taking care of your own. Them snotty snods don't learn respect unless you beat it into them. That's right, Heathcliff. Ha! If only he had been simple-minded fool like you, then the story would have ended right there with a pat on my head. What? Papa, I mean, the middle doesn't stop there. It never does. You're a member of the family. That's automatically gets you written up in the book. Yeah, and he did what he did in the end. I can't believe it! Haha, there you are, Yoshida. Is class starting already? My diligent little girl. Wonder who she's take after. Dad? I know. I said I'll be back before you know it. But I got a bit lost trying to find my way through the ring bastards' tricky mazes. You know how they are. Oh yeah, and there are so many sniveling brats here. Well, as for their crimes, they slapped my buddy's face hard enough to leave a mark. That's an arm for you. As for the instructors, well, anyone agree that they did one sorry job of keeping these tykes under control. In that case, pursuant to Title II, Section 52 of the book, execution by beheading, they clearly don't get much use for what sits on their shoulders, eh? How do you like it, buddy? Papa's the best, ain't he? How dare he? Such essentially barbaric violence. Okay, man who turned dog into his bone blade. Uncultured, uncivilized animal. Do not discouraged, dearest Yoshida. I have eyed yet another academy worthy of your talents. It is a much more significant and prestigious institution this time. I assure you, even an interpreted berserker like Matthias won't dare force his way in such a place as he did the previous academy. Don't wanna. Yoshida? I don't want to go to an academy. I don't want to go. I don't need friends anyway. For all his posturing, nothing that was ever important to me held any significance to Matthias. He took a lot away from me just to feel good about himself. So I hoped he, more than anyone, would never find out about the things I held dear, because I was afraid he would take them away from me, like he did the others. But he'd always catch on faster than he had any right to. Every conjure that took me away from the House of Spiders made me tremble in anxiety. Because I was worried about, I don't remember what, but I do know that I could never stop thinking about my room. So, whatever occupied the room in my absence must have been the most precious thing to me in the world. The scabbard, which had been stirring lightly as Ryushi recounted her past, soon began to rattle audibly. It's doing that thing again. Ryushi patted the scabbard with a gentle, reassuring hand. The scabbard that was once Arya, a memory without attachment. It appeared to be almost as though she was pacifying a crying child. Seeing that gesture, Heathcliff briefly cast a sullen yet faintly expectant gaze between Ryushu, scabbard, and my device. He must be thinking back to his last conversation with Catherine. But Catherine's existence, unlike Arya's, was erased by the golden pose itself. Please give this man a win. I doubt this device could do anything for Heathcliff at this point. From everything we know, the ring nurse father seems to have been the least awful parental figure in your childhood. Huh? Yeah, didn't know that Robelunk was such a radical guy. He sent you to the academy like you wanted and even got angry on your behalf. Wow. Oh? Hazy memories, almost forgot to mention. A few days after that, Callisto left a snowman by my pillow as a gift. It was made of heads. Heads? Yes, decapitated heads from the incident at the academy, threaded together into a sculpture. Thinking back, there's one sorry excuse for an art. He's sorely mistaken if he thought some low effort bullshit like that could make me feel better. Could have spared us the details last. Well, with that covered, do you guys want to head back? Hang on. What's up? Gonna get that luscious treatment before heading back? Everyone knows. Everyone knows the joke. Karen just got here and already knows the joke. Look there, those blockheads walking out of the salon. Cautious, ain't they? They found us. How do you know they're not here for the salon? It would not be on to find a field break of the ring movement in different districts of the city, especially that of the fascist scale. However, various evidence such as their mask and the fact that our group has immediately drawn their attention suggests that they are in the same pack as the one making regular incursions into the House of Spiders. This is LCB speaking to Team Leader Allen, requesting immediate commencement of lockdown sequence. Copy that. Copy that. Then why don't we... Holy shit, guys, stop. Bloody hell, what? Don't you know where you are? You're smack dab in the middle, protect the turf. Cause a scene and bros insist that the middle will be here any second. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Nah, we got Ricardo to back us up. And by that I mean him to fly in. We've already drawn the ring's unwanted attention. We certainly don't want the middle coming after us to the House of Spiders too. So like, you've got a good eye. Talk. Good idea is what I'm assuming. Ever played Whack-A-Mole? Like, why give ourselves a countdown? Just head back through the door now and beat up whoever thinks it's a great idea to want in through the door. She puts forth a sound strategy, executive manager. As long as there's no high-ranking officers among them, it would be to our benefit. Well then, let's do as Kira says. I guess she has a plan or something. That was quick. Alan blinked, shooting us a puzzled look as our entire squad came pouring through the door long before we finished the lockdown sequence. Due to newly emergent complications past the door, we have concluded that this location is optimal point to intercept and engage the infiltrators from the ring. This location, you say? Ah, wait. The door leads to a zone under a syndicate or a wing's protection, doesn't it? Better idea to fight here, then. Happy to work with someone quick on the uptake. It wasn't long for the fascists began rushing in through the open door. I didn't want to summon them while they were relaxing, but, well, can't be helped. And I summoned the spinners back to work. This is gonna be the worst invention ever, right? Like, anytime they have a day off, potential. Okay, so like, guys, what are we doing? I mean, they're rolling like one down. Could win it. Who won? No one, I think. I think everyone lost.
우리 식구를 건드렸겠다.
Yeah, no one won.
이 비었잖아.
요, 이렇게 해야지. 보면 뭘 써야 하는지 딱 느낌이 오잖아. 에?
바이올렛 브레이크 슬랩!
Blue. Okay, sure. Put it on the last coin. Imagine you can come back to my objective.
저희를 하나도 수 없으니 그 용도를 고민하는 것이 상식이다.
한 놈의 죽음으로 끝내기는 죄가 너무 크고 저기 벌벌 떨고 있는 나머지 녀석들도 처형한다. 좋아, 이번에는 제대로 들어가.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
우리 식구를 건드렸겠다.
항상
놀란데.
저희 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
만취할 줄 알았으면 빨리 좀 하지. 야,
보여드려야겠군요. 외면의 예술을.
큰 흐름을 뒤집은 건 아니나 좋은 움직임이로구나.
방금의 공격, 폭신 그 자체였다.
아이씨, 짜증나게. 가져갈래요.
차포잡이라 예상한 것보다 움직임이 더 좋구나.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요. 단 적합한 조치였습니다.
자,
다음 놈 나와. 놀만치 노른 것 같은 게 이제 싸게 치어불고 들어가자.
Alright.
고생들이었다.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가
Alright.
되기
And I
위해
think with the
인정받은 세
first
가지
half
작품을
done,
뜻하죠.
I will stop here
비록
for
지금 제
today,
작품이
and I will
만인의
pick
신금을
up
울리지는
and finish
못하더라도
off the second half tomorrow.
여전히
So with
반지에
Hong
부럽지
Wu
않은 작품을
making that disgusting
선보이고
sound in the
있는
background, that'll be it for today. See ya.